Parents with the students in the state's largest school district are well on their way to gathering enough signatures to put a levy on the ballot this fall. But the school board is saying not so fast. Jennifer Hoff is continuing our coverage of Anoka-Hennepin and joins us with more. Jennifer?
Well, Julie, we first told you about the grassroots group called Parents for Good back in March that now says it's pushing forward with an approach rarely used, essentially forcing the board to take up a levy to combat the district's deficit.
Hi there! You guys here to sign our petition?
A lot like today's temperature.
Today is the 8th.
These parents' push for more school funding.
Yep, and then just the address.
Is really heating up, and Shaylin Burbig couldn't be more proud.
I'm excited to make this move for our schools. Our schools really need it.
She leads the nonprofit Parents for Good, a grassroots group that formed 3 months ago, fighting back against layoffs and a budget deficit across Anoka-Hennepin schools. The state's largest district facing a $6 million deficit and has laid off at least 75 employees as the board is split on whether to support a levy, something that hasn't been on the ballot for nearly 10 years.
Can we get one more clipboard over here?
Burbig hoping her group can gather enough signatures, forcing the board to take one up this fall, counting 1,000 so far.
Thanks for carpooling.
Some 600 shy of what she says state law requires by July. Except in a statement, the district writes its lawyers say levies can, quote, only be commenced by action of the school board, and that the petition doesn't require an election to be held.
Even if they don't necessarily agree with us or they don't totally understand it yet, they want us to be able to vote on it. And they think that the community should have a voice in this and not just a few school board members.
No worries, I can take that.
Burbig says the proposed levy would cost an average homeowner about $320 a year.
Thank you so much.
A necessary push, she adds, to support more students.
This is really about them and making sure that they have a good and safe learning environment.
Now, this is pretty nuanced and complicated, but the law that Burbig is relying on was in fact amended back in 2009. And some experts say the part that allowed petitions like this was revoked back then. However, legislative analysts tell me that there are two separate statutes. One governs election law as a whole, and then there's another one that focuses mostly on school levies. And the amendment was only made to one of them. So there is an inconsistency there that Burbig says gives her the go-ahead to move forward with this. And then depending on how this all plays out, Julie, could actually come down to a judge making the final decision later this year. So
if they
a lot to keep a track of.
Yeah, if they are able to do it, would it be the first time that a parent-led levy has ended up on the ballot? Do you know?
So according to some research, it would date back about 21 years since something like this has happened. And that is in part because that revocation happened back in 2009. But again, depending on what legal experts look at this, they're all sort of interpreting it in different ways.
All right. Keep following it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer.